In this video, let's take a look at the DeClip module. What this allows you to do is it allows you to take audio where you've got a clipped audio signal and to fix and repair this and reshape those waveforms so that that audio isn't clipping anymore. I just want to close this down and show you, for example, a clipped audio waveform. So this is a simple drum sample. I'll play it back. And those snares were recorded a bit hot. So if I just zoom in on there, what you'll see is the waveform has run out of headroom and it starts squaring off. So if I zoom in really close, you'll see it over here. So you've got the wave shape, but here it's running out of headroom and it squares off those waveforms, clipping the audio and giving you an undesired audio result. So now let's use the DeClip module and see what we can do to reshape that audio waveform and get rid of any clipping in the audio. I'm going to select all my audio, and what it does is it brings up this histogram view where you can see where the clipping is occurring and where it suggests that you should use the DeClip module. If I drag this down, you can see here the threshold point of where it's going to reshape that waveform and make sure that it doesn't go above these threshold points. I can click suggest here and it suggests where I should drag it. So what you're wanting to do is drag this down slightly after where the clipping is. I can drag it down a bit more if I really want to. I can also unlink these. So if the clipping is only happening on one of the stereo sides, I could untick this so that they're not connected. Maybe I want to pull the threshold down a bit more on the left compared to the right, but I'm going to keep them linked. I'm going to click suggest again and just drag it down slightly. You can also drag them down over here. So you can either do it in the module or here on the waveform view. And you can also unlink them over here. Then with the quality, you can set a quality for processing the audio with the DeClip module. Now, I just have it set to high. It is going to take a bit longer to render out. If you want to render out at a faster speed, maybe you've got a very long audio file, you can set the quality lower. But most of the times, I'm going to leave it set to high. Then with the makeup gain, when you render out and correct the clipping, sometimes it can push the waveforms up above as it's redrawing and creating more dynamics for that audio. And you can use this to change the makeup gain. So maybe, for example, after the audio correcting, it's jumping up the level and you actually want to pull down that makeup gain to even out the audio. I'll leave it set to 1.9. I can actually select an area and preview it. So here is a snare over there that's being clipped. I'll click preview. That sounds good. So I'm going to select all the audio and render it. Here's a histogram view now of the new audio. And as you can see, there is no clipping. I can actually zoom up and you can see how it's redrawn that waveform. Let me just zoom up again there. So there is a very much smoother snare sample. And if I jump back to the initial state and zoom up again, you can see how it's gone over and it's clipping it. Especially if I go right in there, you can see that clipping that's happening. And then after the DeClip module, zooming in, much better. Redrawing that waveform where there's no clipping. And even the audio result, you can't hear the difference, but you know that you're getting a better audio quality where you're not hitting that ceiling. And also, if you're clipping your audio, some players may not play back your audio if it receives some clipped signal. Now let's just do another pass of a DeClip and bring it all the way down here, setting a much lower threshold. I'll select all the audio and then render it out. And there you go. If I zoom up on that area there, you can see how it's redrawn that waveform. So that is with the makeup gain. So I've got increased dynamics, but I've set a ceiling for where I want that snare to be pulled down, but it has redrawn it to create some more dynamics in the audio. I do find that this is maybe a bit drastic, so I'll jump back to the previous DeClip module. Then finally, there's also a post limiter, so it will limit that audio and make sure that any makeup gain isn't making it jump up over 0 dB. So that's the DeClip module. Really handy, especially if you get some audio from a user or an artist, or maybe you've recorded in some audio where you've set the gain too high on the input. You can use this module to go in and bring out any transients or nasty peaks down using the DeClip module. Sometimes, if you've got some clipped audio, it might be distorted and might be some extra noise as well, and you might run a pass of the DeClip, but you've still got that sound. If that happens, you might need to go back and use the declick and decrackle modules to help improve that audio quality. I did cover declick, but let's now take a look at decrackle and see what we can do with that. Catch you in the next video.